News. British police say 7 stowaways have been arrested. They were found on an oil tanker in the English Channel.
Hampshire police say the men, believed to be from Nigeria, are being held on suspicion of seizing or exercising control of a ship by use of threats of force, although they have not been charged. Police say the 22 crew members of the Nave Andromeda are safe and well after the raid, which unfolded after darkness fell on Sunday. Special boat service commandos were lowered by rope from helicopters onto the tanker, whose crew had locked themselves in a secure part of the ship. Within minutes, the stowaways were in custody. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Presidential advisor and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, says the president wants to help black people in America, but they have to want to be successful for his policies to work. Kushner was on Fox and Friends. He also criticized prominent people who raised their voices after the killing of George Floyd. Ed Donahue, AP News.
At a time when jobs are hard to find, crime is a concern, and Bahamians are uncertain about the future of the country, there is one paper you can rely on as your source of news and commentary. The Nassau Guardian delves deeper into the issues. We ask the tough questions. We tell your stories. If you haven't already, pick up a copy today. The Nassau Guardian. News and views that matter since 1844.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Hey! You got to pay back! Revenge! I'm mad. Got to get back. I need some get back.
Well, what a time to be alive. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. I hope that everybody's doing well. We got a big show for you today. We have a lot of news. The weekend didn't leave us with anything not to talk about today. I guarantee you there's tons to talk about. If you went to church yesterday, you came out if you went to church, especially to that church in Pinewood, you had a word. You got a word. And then guess what? Everybody else heard that word. And that word went viral. And then other people got the word. And the word didn't sit in their spirit right. And so they get vexed to ratted, as my good friend CA would say. And so now we got to talk about that word. But before, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Trust me, the show is loaded with content today. My good friend C.A. Nuri will be joining us. Hello to everyone who is listening via internet. If you are listening via the radio, we are live. The Hit Back with Nahaja Black on Guardian 96.9 FM. It is a beautiful Monday, y'all. I hope you are enjoying your day. I got some bad news today. Right? I got some sad news today. And, it's one of those things. You ever hear when we used to say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. It's that kind of day for me because the news was bad. One of a family member has passed away from COVID. And it's a sad news because he was sort of like when I was very young, was like a father. But we used to all be at the same house. We visit my cousins. And we would always stay at my cousin's house, and her and her husband, it was like a getaway. And he was such this big, lovable bear of a man. And though as you get older, people, you become an adult and you don't hang up with the people who you used to connect with, those older persons who just loved you, on you as a young child. Donald made an indelible impression. Always, he was just so much fun to be around. And so my cousin, we've lost another family member, and that is sad. And so we are, as a family, we're grieving. And so it made me even more grateful today. And it shows just how real COVID is, how real it is. We were thinking that he was going to get better. There were, and a special extension to the McKinsey family and for their loss. And, my cousin and all of those. So it's tough. But we continue to pray and know that this thing is real, man. This is real. And so we don't take COVID lightly. And that was in the news I was expecting today, because yesterday we were talking about how he was progressing. And then we got the news this morning that he passed away. So this is, and special thanks to all of you. Thank you, Tina, for your condolences. This is what is going on. And you would be surprised how it affects you when it hits on your doorstep. And to know that he died alone is another story that is really sad, even in that sense. So thank you all for your condolences. It hit home. And so, we are, it's different, Anyways, so we will, for all of the families who have experienced loss, we send our condolences to you, because we know that over 100 deaths is 100 families. And it doesn't get easy in this time, it doesn't get easy. So please just keep each other in prayer. Let's continue to do our best to stay safe. He had considerable comorbidities, and those things were a challenge. And so we were always concerned with his comorbidities, but special love to the family. And as some of his children are away abroad, so is now, trying to figure all of this out. So that's the season that we're in. And so thank you all again for the condolences. And it's real. It's real. It's real. It's not a hoax. It is real. And we are losing people. We got a big show for you today. But before we get to that, I wanted to invite some special guests. So something that I don't know. And like I said, we have C.A. Nuri, Corvell Pipe from all of the news of the day. So stick and stay with us. I wanted to have these guests on at the top of the show, though. Before we even get into anything else, I wanted to have these guests at the top of the show because they are representing something that I believe in. And y'all know how I feel about our natural resources. You know how I feel about being moving into a green society. I've ever told you guys about when I was off to school and I learned about recycling. It became such an easy thing for me. I wished when I came home that we would continue recycling, and we don't recycle. And I have a problem with that, I need to figure out a way to recycle now, because we used to recycle in plastic bags. Don't let nobody fool you. Them plastic bags didn't go in the garbage the first go round. Those plastic bags had at least 6 lives before, because you had to tote something with a plastic bag. And then after you toted it with a plastic bag, it would go in your cupboard. And then you'd use it for a garbage bag. That's recycling. Anyways, we got some guests on here, and they are from a wonderful company, Easy Car Rental. I want to welcome Pia Farmer and Sean Grisette. Sean, did I get your last name correct?
Yes, you did. And
excellent.
We're Easy Car Sales.
Easy Car Sales. I said my apologies. Easy Car Sales.
Do the leasing and all that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to have you guys. Pia, Sean, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the Hit Back today.
Thank you for having us here, and my deepest sympathies and condolences to you.
Thank you.
And your family. It is not an easy time. Everybody has had challenges of some kind or another. Everybody has been transformed in the last few months.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it was definitely one of those bits of news you didn't anticipate today. And it makes you grateful that you're alive, and it gives you a good awakening that we have to really stay on God. Okay, but without further ado, guys, let's hit on something like that I'm happy that we're doing today. Easy Car Sales is the first and the only car lot automobile company that specializes in 100% electric cars. And I'm so excited to hear this because I've talked about Tesla, and now I need to buy no Tesla. I could get me just a tank. So I'm stoked.
You don't have to spend the Tesla money.
Well, I didn't have that. I was going to borrow that from the bank and then just go to Canada later. Just go missing with the car. Just send it. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
We are the first ones. I mean, Easy Car Sales was traditionally a company that sold pre-owned gasoline cars. They built their reputation on that and so forth. But we realized very early on, about 4 years ago, that was coming to an end. And as you see press now, as you find out more about the world now and what's going on, it has come to happen. But it has been a little bit of a lonely road for the first few years. but things have started to change dramatically. And what we did is we decided that gas, although it's going to be around for a while, is over now because old technology. We have been driving gas vehicles for over 100 years. We don't have anything else in our house or in our lives as 100-year-old technology. Everything is moving forward and everything is becoming simpler. And the trick with the electric cars is that they're much simpler, they're much less expensive to own, and they're much more efficient in a world that requires us to conserve, reuse, and to be more conscious. And this is our mission, is to bring that availability to the people in the Bahamas, 100% electric vehicles.
Yeah, that's something that when you think about it, I love the idea. I've always loved the idea of electric, 100% electric. I drive a hybrid, and I thought I was doing something for the world, I really thought I was doing something for the world in driving a hybrid. And I quickly found that I was not very pleased with its efficiency. And but it was better than going full gas, right? It's better than going with that full gas type of life. And I'm enjoying the hybrid until you realize it was cheap hybrid. I can't afford the rich one. So
it was sold like that to the public.
Yeah.
We've been sold a lot of things over time. We're coming to realize in these COVID times.
Right.
And we were sold the idea that you needed a hybrid, so that you could travel and so forth. But what you're in fact doing is you're maintaining a combustion engine, still having to go to the gas station, oil change, spark plug, blah, blah, blah. And then also the electric motor. So it becomes a little bit more complicated and it becomes a little expensive to have to maintain two things when you can just maintain an electric motor. I'm sitting underneath the fan. Okay? The electric motor goes on, it goes off. Goes on, it goes off. That's what your car does if it's electric. It goes on, goes off. There's 1,000 parts in a regular car, let alone a hybrid, that are not in an electric car.
Yeah.
So you have to replace it, maintain it, change it.
And Sean, you wanted to add?
And Nahaja, especially in these stressful times, and you alluded to some of those things that people are dealing with. We don't need more stress.
No.
We don't need to worry about running out of gas. We don't need to worry about having gas in our budget. We don't have to worry about the timing belt going or the engine this or the spark plug that. So easy car sales, it's in our name. It's about making things easy for persons. And so that's where the electric car comes in. I've had an EV for about 4 going on 5 years.
Have you done anything to it?
Tires, because we do have our potholes. I know we
don't count that,
but we can't. So I've only had to change my tires, my windshield wipers, and my windshield wiper fluids. Period.
You know what? Okay, so this is one of the best things about this, right? If you just you can't beat that. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We're talking with Sean and Pia from Easy Car Sales about their 100% electric cars, 100%. And I had the good fortune of being able to drive one of those vehicles the other day. And let me tell you all something. Now, first of all, there is this level of snooty that you can't obtain with driving something that's brand new. You see, I like to be a trendsetter, but I ain't trendy. I can't. I've never been trendy in my life. So the only thing I could hang my head on is gadgets. And I loved that SUV. That was the smoothest ride. What I didn't anticipate was how quickly that thing went from 0 to 60. Almost got whiplash in that thing, but it was safe. Everyone?
Just
safe.
To protect our freedoms, it was around 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, don't want to get logged down for that one.
Calling us.
You don't know how this thing could shift.
Well, it does not have a transmission. Because it doesn't have a combustion engine, you don't have to have a transmission that goes first gear, second gear.
Yes, I didn't realize that.
So you don't have that anymore, right?
There were things about this that the experience was something that I came home, I raved to my husband about it. I told him, listen, we need to get one of these because the ride was so different. When you realize that you've been for all of your life, electric cars to me probably felt to other people what the first car might have felt like when you did that first model, and then you keep graduating to something else when you move to the first stick, and then you get to automatic, and you're like, oh, this is powerful. We don't have to shift anymore.
I do agree, Nahaja. This is a transition from similar to that of the donkey cart to the car. And many persons when they've experienced the electric car for the first time, they are totally blown away with the performance, with the agility, with everything about the whole drive. In addition to all of those other things that are relieving your stress, you have a stress-free drive. And in fact, even when you're in bumper-to-bumper traffic, the car is giving you back miles. It's actually regenerating all of that energy you spend braking and accelerating and then coasting. It's going right back into the battery, extending your range. So it's an all-out wonderful experience.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many things to love about the vehicle. You have a line of vehicles, for the record. You have ranging from a compact to a coupe to a sedan to what do you call those?
The hatchbacks.
SUVs,
and then we have luxury SUVs. Please, before I forget, go to our website, www.easy242.com, and you will find all of the vehicles, the entire lineup, all of the specifications. You could even get quotes, get information sent to you. Mm-hmm. Go to our website, easy242.com.
Go ahead, Pia.
Sorry to interrupt. The trick is to try the car. Sit in the car and drive it. I can't explain. I'm already a fanatic, right? So you're going to go like, all right, well, yeah. But you have to experience it and try it yourself, and then you can judge. You can see how luxurious is it? How smart is this car? How many gadgets are in this vehicle? I mean, it's probably going to be the best ride that you've ever had. Full stop, in a car. But it's available and it's here, and you should come and test drive it. You can come anytime. We do curbside test drives.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It was a VIP experience with the test drive, though. I will tell you.
So we were very neat. Okay.
And we have enough range in our models that there is an EV for everyone. We know everyone is getting, like the businesses are transitioning now into curbside and deliveries. We have a wonderful delivery van, the T3, that many companies are taking advantage of. And they're seeing the savings instantly on their bottom line.
Instantly.
You can't imagine.
You can't for delivery businesses or people who drive a lot. I remember, and I told you both, Sean and Pia, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Top of the show, we have Pia and Sean from Easy Car Sales joining us as we talk about, us making the move to these electric cars. And, even in your carbon footprint, if you are not an activist, you can just activate your activism by going green, by just going and getting a vehicle like this that not only is great for the environment, but is great for your pocketbook. So now I wanted something that really stuck, that there were two things. There was one concern was, the electric side of it. How much is this going to cost me? Because if it's not costing me fuel at $4 or $5 a gallon, it's probably going to cost me all my BPL money, right? Like I'm guaranteed to have the chairman come and cut off my light.
Oh, no.
Okay, so tell me about how much does this cost?
I'm just going to give you a figure.
Go.
You pay BPL $1 a gallon.
$1 a gallon?
BPL $1 a gallon. So
equivalent, yeah.
Driving for the equivalent of a gallon, yes, of gas.
In gas, yes.
So instead of driving to the gas station and making your way there,
waiting on lines,
and paying $4 or whatever it is, because I haven't been to a gas station in 5 years.
Don't ask me.
Show off.
But whatever it is, you come home, you plug it in, because the car comes with a charger. You just plug it in, and for the equivalent of how far you can go on a gallon of gas, that costs you $1 in an electric car. So you are saving 75%
of your fuel cost.
Yes. Back in your pocket.
So
man, y'all don't even know. I told you guys in my Skyline, that's why I went hybrid, right? I used to pay $40 every 2 days. And that was to get me to half tank. Right?
Oh boy.
That car, if I could have picked that car up and throw that in You know, like around it where, people just dump all them other stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
what it is that not only is it much less expensive for you to run the car because you're paying 75% less. Imagine going on a sale where everything is 75% less than what you're paying now, okay? That money goes to you, but also the service is minimal because you are not having to take the car in for it to be in for the day, to have the oil
So I don't
change.
have to worry about every 6 months servicing,
no.
all of those parts changings, none of those things.
So
No,
part
and
of this revolution is that the service people will come to you at your convenience with a diagnostic tool, plug in your vehicle, and give you a little report of how your car is doing. Thank you
That's
very
it.
much.
I get a little report too.
That's
And
it.
then on your energy savings side of things, before we move from that, if you are planning or if you have solar, your savings are even more.
It's
So
30
think of
cents, the equivalent of 38
That's right.
gallon if you do solar, because these cars are solar ready. That's the whole point, is that we're moving to more sustainable power from solar more and more, even though we are a little slow in that regard, but we're going to get there. So you have solar on your roof and an electric car in your garage, and you're charging from solar. I charge from solar at my house right here. The solar panels are out there. My car is here. I paid 38 cents for the equivalent of a gallon of gasoline.
Y'all don't even know how my soul is just. I don't even know what to tell you, because for me this is music to my ears. And
it's
if you
not
put
pie in the sky, it's something you can do right now.
now.
and on top of that, people think that electric cars are like a tiny Prius or something. These things are hot. Well, you know what, Sean? Slip me a photo in my messenger, man. Let me put that up there. These cars are hot. Okay? You can get the number from Pia. Pia'll send it or whatever. I got you.
Yeah,
Sean is the technology guy, you know. I'm enthusiasm.
Because let me tell you, that is what I was blown away with the amount of tech that's in the vehicle. So we're talking about a giant, I don't know if it's an iPad screen, but this screen that is in there, it's an iPad, yeah?
Oh, yeah. They're called the car pads, but they have all of the information, all of the controls are right there. It has Wi-Fi. It has Bluetooth. It has surround sound, speaker system.
We were watching the hit back in the car.
Yeah.
Whatever you're thinking of.
We weren't driving though, just for the record. Again, we don't want to get locked up.
Hands-free telephone calls, and get this, Nahaja, a dashboard camera.
Oh, I love that.
From the factory.
Yeah, you know what? Why I really like the dashboard camera. Now there's other. I was told that it's called the sweetheart camera, but I don't know. I was just saying, Bahamians, y'all can't drive. So I need that camera to catch everybody who tries to talk about, I didn't cut you off, sweet girl, I saw you. Or I want to catch the jitney driver who was doing all that foolishness and I forget and couldn't get the license plate. Or the delivery company who tried to cut me off. I won't catch all of that.
But think about what that can do in terms of insurance, in terms of waiting for the police. We could just email them the video footage and they could figure it out. I mean, that has so many legs when it comes to the accidents that happen on the streets normally.
All it is a change of mindset. That's all it is.
That's it.
Let go of the gas.
Someone asked
that the only option is a combustion engine vehicle. And guess what? You do have the right to drive electric. You can drive electric.
Yes.
It's elite. It's not for the Teslas. It's not for this. It's for everybody. We're bringing in a little compact vehicle that is going to be a great first vehicle for
the E1, yeah.
And those cars come with an 8-year warranty on the electric motor and the battery.
8 years.
8-year warranty.
8 years.
8-year warranty on the driver.
So you know what that sounds like to me? It doesn't sound like a big depreciation thing, because most other cars, when they ride off the lot, they depreciate.
Yeah, because the warranty expires so quickly. If you get 3 years, you're doing well.
And then what you can do is you can start with one model EV, and in a few years, when you need or can or want to upgrade, then you trade in your old EV for the new the warranty stays with that vehicle for the 8 years. And you can upgrade at any time. And what's going to start to happen is more people are going to be looking into that second-hand or pre-owned electric vehicle market, right? Yeah. Right now, cars are all new. All the electric cars are new. Because we can offer the warranty. We have all the parts. We trained our people. We have the diagnostic tools and so forth. But slowly there will be a turnover. So even if today you're not ready for a new car, then you can say my next one is going to be. But if you're ready now, we'll trade in your gas car.
And I love that. I love that. And I'm glad that you guys brought that up. Before I get to asking about how can people, access or, think about and move towards getting, going electric 100%, saying enough is enough with gas and the gas lobby, the fuel lobby. I have all my issues with that whole
fuel lobby, the parts lobby,
all of them. This automobile lobby, everybody lobbying, and I can't even win. Nobody's lobby for me. You ever see that? Nobody's lobby for me.
Like the hotels.
I swear to you, at least with the hotel lobby, concierge has come for me.
At least. You're right with that.
Let me ask you guys this. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian 96.9 FM. We've got Pia Farmer, Sean Grisette here with us from Easy Car Sales as we're talking about 100%, going 100% electric in some of the sexiest vehicles I've ever seen. And the price range is, I have a friend of mine, love her dearly. She bought, what do you call the thing? It was an SUV. It was an SUV. Yeah, it was an SUV.
Was it a BMW or?
No. It wasn't. No, listen, my friends, we come from Elizabeth Estates, Pinewood. We don't.
Okay.
I ain't there yet.
Well,
okay. All right.
We have cars for everyone. Yes.
So she bought one, and she ended up with a 7-year deal, 7-year loan. She was a 7-year loan at one crazy interest rate, and the car depreciated like a solid 30 days. I told her,
wow.
I said, I feel sorry for you that you got this. Why did you call me? We could have bought used.
Okay, hold the phone. My used, I'm driving a Leaf now. I'm going to upgrade to the BYDs. But my Nissan Leaf that I've had for about 5 years has been giving me back $2,000 every year in savings.
In cost savings. Yeah.
Yes.
Nope. She's taken it so many times to get repaired. There's so many times when she hasn't, I think she's at 5 years now. So she got 2 more years before she's finished with the bank. But the 5 years of having this brand new SUV has been interesting already. So, when I hear things like this and how much she spent on this SUV in terms of a loan, finding out how much your guys are charging for, say, even the compact. I think Dazzy has one of your vehicles, right? Dazzy the Demi.
Yes.
Which one does Dazzy have?
We're offering a trade-in program where you can bring your rejects. Bring it to Easy Car Sales. We'll deal with it.
Which one does Dazzy have?
Wonderful trade-in program going. Yeah.
She has the hatchback.
That's the E2.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a nice car. And yes. Prices are very competitive and comparable to gas cars. All right, we have a whole range of them. But what you have to remember is after you invest in your car, every week you are saving from what you used to use on gasoline and service, and you're putting that back in your pocket to go and spend at the supermarket. Because the
savings are real. Or
you can put it towards your loan. We are working with RBC right now, and they're offering some great deals. We are going to be out at their Cable Beach branch this Friday from 10 till 4, and we're going to have all the cars. So everybody can come and try.
Cable Beach, 10 to 4.
Yes, RBC Cable Beach. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, really? That's great.
Oh, yeah.
In the super value.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I get a test drive again?
Oh, yes.
That joint was nice.
Will be there. Everything will be right there.
All the cars will be there. We'll be there. We'll be able to tell you all the information. All the RBC people will be there to talk.
Yes.
Well. And so we are offering the trade-ins. We're working with RBC. We're going to be on the road. We popped up at Old Fort Bay Club. Old Fort
Bay
branch.
Yes.
And it was, we did not stop. There were 6 of us there, and we did not stop doing
non-stop test drives. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Friday, but anytime you can go to the website, easy242.com, and book a test drive at your convenience. It's a private curbside. You come, the car is there, it's all cleaned up, it's hygienic,
sanitized.
Yes,
the word.
Yeah.
And then you can go and take a test drive, and that's the way you find out what it is to be part of the EV, not even revolution, evolution now.
Yes. And I love that, the EV evolution, because I think it's about time that we really, when I saw that and I said, Jesus, I don't have to, because the Tesla was the only model I knew that was, you could say, was dependable and it was sensible. And I was like, well, I'll get the base model. That's like 30 something thousand. And then how much would it cost to come here?
Bring it over,
And, you know, that would have been a whole expense. And then who would be able to maintain it and, you know, take care of it? So those things. But to know that we have easy car sales here that has,
we're the authorized dealer.
Man,
we call the BYD the Tesla for the rest of us, you know.
Yeah, no, and listen, that's my vehicle. I'm in. I am so in. Someone wants to know, do you sell and service the car in Grand Bahama?
We can sell it in Grand Bahama, and servicing it would not generally be a problem at all, because it just means that we'll come up on a regular basis to Grand Bahama with our diagnostic tool, and we go in our, you know, from one car to the other, plug it in, check it out.
Definitely.
So
we attended a tech show on Grand Bahama. I was there on several occasions with several of the vehicles. I've actually driven one from East End to West End, back to East End. So I did the whole circuit on one charge, because that's one of the questions a lot of people ask. Well, how far
that's a
does
long
this car
drive.
go? Or how long is so we have ranges of from 186 miles on a single charge all the way up to 310 miles on a charge.
186. So on the lower end, you have 186 miles per charge.
Yes, that can do the entire Grand Bahama full round trip with miles to spare.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy.
You know, we have one in Eleuthera. We just sent our first baby to Eleuthera.
Oh yes.
Yes, at La Bougainvillea resort there.
Oh, nice.
Mazzara, he really wanted, Mr. Marazza, he really wanted it, and so he has one, and he loves this car. And you know, there are more and more on the road now. I don't know, once you start noticing, you will see how many electric cars are on the road in New Providence. And I know Grand Bahama had quite a few electric cars, particularly because Grand Bahama Power is committed to electric vehicles as well, which we hope BPL will also encourage one of these days, since they have electric cars, but they don't.
Yeah, they have a fleet.
They don't have
excellent
cars. You know what I mean? So, but in any event, so yes, they're available in any of the islands and solar ready and ready to go. And maintenance is
exciting.
And built-in savings right from the get-go. No gas, no fuel leakage.
One of the things that I loved about the high-end SUV was that it didn't just have a seat warmer, it had a seat cooler. So no more having back sweat. That was powerful. I was in for that.
Yeah, well, you know, what it is that these electric cars now, we're having an opportunity not to spend so much money in the whole engine situation and have that engine be more efficient, or that we can spend our imagination, our time, and our money on what can we have
creature comforts
on wheels.
Yes.
There you go. All the accoutrements, I call them.
Yes, I'm loving it. Listen,
and Nahaja, I don't know if you go into a break, but think of what's going on globally. Many countries around the world, they're setting deadlines. No more gas cars on the road. We have Paris, France. We have the UK. In fact, the UK mandated that every service station has a electric car charging station. Yeah. And so that's where the whole world is moving. And especially with this COVID situation, a lot of countries are accelerating this push to EVs, clean energy. And so this is a revolution or an evolution. We're just on the cusp, and this is going to take over.
You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Okay, guys, don't forget this. I'm excited about it. I don't know if you are, but I am very excited about this evolution that we're in with 100% electric vehicles. It really y'all have to know me. If to know me is to know that I'm extremely excited about this, because I see it as something that I can reach. It's not too far above my station. I can reach this thing.
Anyone, yeah.
Actually, I don't like recent. One thing, in our house, we don't buy new cars. We don't believe in extra debt for no reason. This is a quality investment. Cars are dead investments to me. This is a quality investment. This is a transportation device that to me is a good investment. I won't have to worry about service. I got a car downstairs as a hybrid and I got to service that. And it don't make no sense because I ain't gonna get my new gas. Y'all don't even have to know.
And Nahaja,
I'm going through.
When the power goes out, not to talk bad, but BPL, but when the power goes out, I take a drop cord and plug it into my electric car.
Oh no,
I
you show it
have enough
off.
stored energy to power a 3-bedroom house for a couple of days. So in the event of a power
You mean to tell me that's a generator too?
Well, it's a battery, right? It's a battery.
I've used it all the time.
Hold on. Listen.
It's a battery.
All the time.
We haven't even launched that side of the situation yet.
Hold on. All you had to say was my car was a generator. You mean to tell me I could ride in style? I could act like I'm special because I got probably one of the few 100% electric, whilst it's still one of the few. I could show off, and when BPL lose its mind, my house could be on. This is powerful.
There you go.
And also the batteries can be used later to store solar power.
Solar energy, yes.
Recycle
when it comes to recycling, yeah.
And just to reiterate again, Patrice wanted to know what was the calculated rate cost for, in terms of your savings with gas. And Pia, Sean, you guys mentioned that it's a 75% savings.
Yeah.
Whatever you
think how much you spend every week or every month on gas. Take a quarter of that. That's what you will be paying BPL on your electricity bill. But that's if you don't go and charge in some of the free charging spots that are around the island.
I would hit the free charging spots.
Right. Yeah. So, that's also another thing. And that's only until you get your own solar, and then you just won't even worry about it anymore.
You sure the car's in solar either? It doesn't put solar on my roof for free? No, I'm just checking.
We would love to.
Yet.
Guys, we got to go, but thank you so much, Pia and Sean from the Easy Car Sales. Don't forget, you can go to their website at, what is it, Sean?
Easy242.com. That's www.easy242.com. EASY242.com.
And that was pretty easy. Easiest website ever.
We make it easy.
You can come. Yeah, it's easy to remember. You can come to the lot, or you can book an appointment, or come on Friday. We're going to be outdoors.
Yes.
Not crowded or anything.
Rain or shine, we'll be there.
Yeah, just look out by RBC in Cable Beach.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you all so much. It was a pleasure having you, Pia and Sean. Easy Car. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. When we come back, we got so much more. Don't forget, guys. Easy 242. I think that's it. Easy 242. Yeah. Easy242.com. Go ahead, enjoy and join the revolution of 100% electric. Y'all, that producer, play for me the electric slide, man. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. We'll be back right after this.
If you have a Fidelity MasterCard prepaid card, you can now receive a $25 MasterCard gift card. All you have to do is use your prepaid card to make 10 purchases in 3 different places. To participate and learn more about this offer, visit www.fidelitygroup.com. Terms and conditions apply. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and Gretzy.
We need to start joking with everything, This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me the meters, boy, downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junking.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us. We push back. Challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's electric. You can't see it. It's electric. You gotta feel it. It's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric. You gotta mess up with the fucking technologies that moving like she's all got the moving. You gotta know it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. That you can't hold it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you know it's there. Yeah, there and everywhere. I've got to move. I'm going on a party ride.
Teach me the electric slide, y'all. Oh, yeah. I wonder if Corvell and CA will come with me.
Well, I'm here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. I've got my good friends C.A. Nuri, Corvell Pyfrom, joining me here live on the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's electric. I was feeling that song, y'all. I was feeling that I had Easy Car sales on, and they got 100% electric vehicles. Cecil, Corv, you know, I think it's about time now. By our powers combined, we could be riding electric. I'm very excited about that idea.
I would love an electric car now, just to be like nouveau riche, and I think that's how you pronounce it, to be in the crowd. I think that's
pretty bougie, just trying to say that word. I mean,
I need to see it in writing so I can learn to pronounce it properly. Nouveau riche, like new rich in English, new rich people.
I would like that. New rich, yeah.
New rich.
Well, if that's what nouveau riche, but that's next level. I wasn't ready for that. Corvell Pyfrom, my friend, welcome to the Hit Back.
It is good to be back. How long has it been? You two have been together for quite a while, but this is the first time I'm being with you both. Congratulations, by the way, on the new addition to the family, Nahaja.
Thank you. You are what, 7 months late on the formal?
I know. I was about to say, like, you should be ready for college by now, eh?
That boy is moving quickly.
Yeah.
He needs to vote so he can get out my house. But anyways, it's good to have everybody, tuning in. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian 96.9 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Feel free to, search up Nahaja Black. You will find us there. You can also download the Guardian Radio app and listen to us live there. You can use the TuneIn app. However you find it best to listen, please do. We're always so appreciative for having you all be a part of the show every and any given day. So I was looking for, and Cecil, help me out. I was looking for the audio for the Bishop's Good Sermon. And so we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, right? So I need you to send me that, CA. So we have tons of things to talk about.
By the way, that's what I meant about the pre-gaming. You remember we spoke about New York's like, what's pre-gaming? Well, there you go. That's like having audio clips ahead of the show.
Yeah, no. Normally I would, Normally I'd be a good professional at this point, right? Cecil, I would have my stuff down. I don't know where I misplaced it. Anyways, so
yes,
today, that's why I'm so glad both of you are here, because there are so many things that came to mind today. And I said, you know what, Corville and CA would be perfect for this discussion, because there's a certain level of just sheer brilliance that Corville will bring, and also CA, right? But CA will bring the extra level of snarky and sarcasm. And so I needed a bit of both. Whereas I would just come straight down the middle with the big dump truck of this don't make no kind of sense. So long story short, we have water issues in Eleuthera that are supposedly being resolved, right? But we're talking about it again. It's in the news again for this company that has been around for at least a decade, if not more. And now it's, it's all in the forefront for us. But in Eleuthera, this has been their number one supplier, and it's been an independent provider of water for however long. And now there's a debt crisis where it seems as if the persons who had the debt, being the government, weren't paying their bill. And then, you don't pay your bill, people shut water off. So this is an issue here. We have that to discuss. Then we have, of course, the good bishop, Bishop Neil Ellis, preaching a sermon from the pulpit, preaching a sermon. And this sermon that he preached, or not even a whole sermon, it was just like a part of it, right? It was like a part of it. He preached a particular part of it, and it got out. It's in the news. And what's the name of the chairman? Carl Culmer?
Carl Culmer, Senior. Not to be mistaken.
As the Junior.
Junior, right.
Right, yeah. Carl Culmer, the chairman of the F&M, said it was a wicked, not wicked, but what was it, low? Used the term low, move by the bishop, said that it was a spiteful one coming from the pulpit. It was weird, some of the words that he used in this, in his, discussion on it. And it's gotten the ire of the people. So I wanted to read and you get your thoughts from it, Corbell, because I wondered, what does it mean? Or did you take offense to the bishop saying or calling out the fact that the competent authority or the powers that be were using or continually using their power to extend the lockdown, right? Continually using the power. Did you have a problem with what the bishop said on his pulpit?
No, I did not have a problem with what he said. And like full disclosure here from me, do I think that the bishop did not intend to strike up this controversy or fire up this controversy? No, I think he knew full well what it would do. And I as it relates to going after the government, I had no problem with what he said. The only thing that I kind of did question or was just not that comfortable with was, I think the bishop is, highly regarded enough, and I think he's, like I said, I think he's a person who's well with words, and I think the little innuendo was unnecessary about either say it directly or just leave it alone if you're going to suggest that somebody doesn't believe in God, and knowing that that's here, especially, that's inflammatory language. And so I just thought that was maybe I think that's the only thing that I found a little bit uncomfortable about what he said. But the rest of it, as far as spanking the government or he raised legitimate points. And so, and also, and I'll tell you where I am mad. I'm mad about the reaction to it, because I'm like, why does it take somebody so prominent to have to raise what people have been saying is their concerns for months? He said nothing revolutionary, nothing new or anything. So it just shows me again, it's like, again, exactly the state that we are in. If it does not come from somebody who matters, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And we don't matter, right?
And we don't matter. Because let's face it, I mean, Bishop Ellis is probably not afflicted by this at all. He's okay.
Yeah. One of my things was, at this point, I was listening to it, right? And the bishop didn't say anything to me that was so, I mean, we've been saying this for a long time. I've said it on my show, right? He says here in his sermon, I guess, that's always a dangerous place to go for kings and rulers and prime ministers and presidents. Got to be careful when they set themselves up in an undemocratic fashion, because sooner or later you become so big-headed that you begin to act like God, he said. Addressing the House Assembly last week, Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez announced a resolution that would be tabled for the next sitting to extend the public state of emergency to November 30th. Ellis accused F&M parliamentarians of being spineless. He says, how dare y'all, having been democratically elected by our people, because you're spineless and trying to protect your territory, and you don't have enough spine on the inside to stand up and say, no more lockdowns, Prime Minister. We will not extend these curfews, and we will not give you an extension of the orders another month. Ellis continued, I was amazed at how grown men and women can sit down and watch the democratic process be placed under a tunnel. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing when you start acting like a god. It's a dangerous thing when you got all power wrapped up in your hands. How in the world did we get like this? He said, this is no longer cute. I like that part. That part made me smile.
No, but nothing's like seeing it. Nothing is like seeing it.
I'm going to get the clip ready. Don't worry. I'll have it for you.
It was dramatic in its effect. It was.
Yeah, it had to be dramatic. And that's why I have to. And that's why the 5 o'clock hour is coming up. And so when I come back, that's going to lead the show because I need that effect. You got to hear, because, you know, and on top of that is Bishop Ellis, right? So you got to get the tambourine and you got to get the applause and the whistles. Were there any whistles? I missed the whistles. And, you know, so I got to have a Mount Tabor flair. So when bishop... Go ahead.
We talk about, you know, in the Economic Recovery Council's report, we talk about making this place more competitive. Well, one thing I want them to be assured of, we have world-class pastors here, because that was some preaching from Bishop Ellis.
Don't mess with him, though. Why would Mr. Culmer think that it would be wise? That it would be wise to go against... worse is, the bishop wasn't even talking to him. And so I gather that he needed to interject himself in this conversation. But what, for me, okay, this is where I'm at. One, the bishop has more influence in his pinky than Culmer has in his whole being in moving anyone or any peoples, period. That's the influence, period. The bishop has the ability, I'm telling you, he has the ability, if the bishop wanted to organize a march or a protest right now against this government, how quickly could the bishop mobilize that?
And see, look at what Nahaja just did. I have 100,000 followers. that's
But isn't it true, though? Don't play. Culmer needs to know which. Okay, look. I'm not going to put a chicken to fight a dog. And a rabid dog at that. I'm not going to say, let's have a chicken go into a ring with a wild dog that does dog fights and a chicken that does cock fights. Which one do you think will win that one? Okay? So... Cecil, I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Your audio is practically, I can't hear anything you're saying. But my point is, and we'll go to a break and then we hopefully get this audio stuff sorted out with us. What I'm saying is that Mr. Culmer should have known, senior should know better. You don't go into this ring, because if Bishop Ellis really wanted to put the clamp down on Dr. Minnis, the competent authority, you don't think Bishop Ellis from all of Mount Tabor would rise up. And look, someone, and I know my good friend Cecil doesn't believe that church folks should be involved in any part, that pastors should stay in their lane. I think that's what Cecil would say, right, Corv? And I don't know if you believe that, but Cecil would say that pastors should stay in their lane. But I said, Dr. Martin Luther King was a pastor first, was a preacher man. He was a preacher. Don't you start nothing in there. That's why God mute your mic, Cecil. That he was a preacher man. And that preacher man was on a movement, and it was churches that moved things. It was social injustice that got people up. And if the church ain't ready for social injustice fighting, then they're a waste of air, because that's the whole ministry they got is social injustice. My friends, he's like, listen, let me fix my mic. We're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to have the bishop's sermonette. And then, really, I need to get the audio for Carl Culmer's statement. They got to be around here somewhere. I hope they didn't just... Let me find out who get that. I'll be back. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We will chime in. We got to get more commentary on this. Someone said, you're wrong for this. Someone said, I'm wrong for this. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We'll be back right after this.
I need some get back. Payback. Payback. That is. Payback. Again. I'm mad. Get down.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
You're listening to the Guardian News Update on the Hour. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Berthany McDermott.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's what's making news. Police are investigating the death of a 57-year-old former policeman at his residence on 5th Street, The Grove, on Saturday night. According to police, ex-cop John Dames was found by relatives at the rear of the home. They say he also had injuries to his body. Family members say the man was a taxi driver but didn't wish to comment further. Police initially described his death as an apparent suicide, but quickly changed it to a death investigation. An autopsy will be performed to determine Dames's exact cause of death. Threats by private companies to cut off water supplies to Bahamian communities are unacceptable. That's according to Water and Sewage Chairman Adrian Gibson, who said the same company that shut off the water supply to Central Eleuthera last week has threatened the same on other islands.
Any action, and these actions have been taken, leaving our communities in peril. It speaks to a lack of a conscience.
His comments came during his contribution to the debate to extend the state of emergency to November 30th. It's a move opposition leader Philip Davis said his party will not support. Davis told parliamentarians that government's COVID-19 policies are clearly failing. He added that no self-respecting member of parliament should agree to the extension.
Why should we surrender our constitutional prerogative to scrutinize, debate, and improve the rules governing our people, especially when some of our most important freedoms are curtailed by these rules? Mr. Speaker, the emergency orders were intended to be a short-term, a way to give the government the flexibility to manage an urgent public health crisis.
Well, that's a look at stories making news at this hour. For the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott. Stay with us. AP Update is up next.
Coronavirus update. I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. Stocks finished lower. The Dow down 650 points. Investors are concerned about the prospects for a big new coronavirus economic relief bill. Mark Hamrick is with Bankrate.com.
I think the problem is that elected officials in Washington are sort of taking the game of politics more seriously than their mission to serve the American people as a whole.
President Trump talked about the coronavirus during a campaign stop in Pennsylvania.
We're doing a great job. We are absolutely rounding the corner.
Joe Biden greeted supporters in Pennsylvania near his home in Delaware.
We're going to be traveling, continue to travel. But the big difference between us and the reason why it looks like we're not traveling, we're not putting on super spreaders.
Numbers from Johns Hopkins University show deaths per day from the coronavirus in the U.S. are on the rise again. I'm Ed Donahue.
We've made the switch. Commonwealth Bank now offers safer and more secure online banking with 24-hour one-time password authentication. OTP is an alphanumeric series of characters that authenticates the user for each cash transaction, a new and unique password that's secure every single time. For immediate assistance, please visit your home branch or contact the call center at 242-502-6159. For further information, visit our website at www.combankltd.com. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. I've got my good friend Sia Nuri and Colville Pipe from my good friends joining me today on the show. We've got a lot to talk about. Here is the clip, guys. You're just tuning in. You're listening to us, of course, on Guardian 96.9 FM, the station for the nation, the #1 talk show. Okay, listen, I running out. Y'all know where y'all listening to me. Guardian 96.9. I was just doing that for fun. For everybody who didn't know. All
Especially considering you just stole all the other stations' themes as well, eh?
I did, didn't I? I always think that I do that, don't I? Cecil doesn't help me out at all. Who's the station for the nation? That's Nesse.
I honestly think that's the state-owned one. But hey, another example.
I don't another example of the station. So, but only thing I can say is only the sun covers
and copyright means nothing.
Nothing in the Bahamas. No.
Not a real thing.
It's not a real thing here. I mean, we're not a real country. Who cares?
You can catch
I always ask Cecil, Cornwell, I always ask Cecil, why do I feel like that's somebody else's title? Like this tagline. He never helps. Okay. Let me stop stealing other people's tagline. Kids. Guardian 96.9 FM. The state, nope, not the station for the name. Nope, that's not it either. Nope, just moving on.
I think it's like Smart Talk, Smart News, Fresh Talk.
Smart News, yeah, that's what Dwight says all the time. Smart News, Fresh, no, Fresh Talk, not whatever. Anyway, something all day. Right. Thank you, Corv. Appreciate you, man. Because CA Nuri would cause me to go to jail, like no problem. Okay,
easy going.
Here is the bishop. His sermon net that caused all of this uproar, and I want you guys to tell me your thoughts. Don't forget, you can feel free to text or call. I want to hear from you. You can call us live at 325-4259, 325-4316, or 323-6232. Here we go.
Be placed under a tunnel. It's a dangerous thing when you start acting like a god. It's a dangerous thing when you got all power wrapped up in your hands. It's a dangerous thing when you're the only person in the country who can determine who goes and who stays, who has a funeral in a church and who else go to the graveyard. It's a dangerous thing for you to decide who gets to come in private and who else got to stay locked down. It's a dangerous thing when there's only one person in your country making all the decisions. He determines when we shut down or open up. He determines whether businesses stay closed or operate from the curve. He determines whether churches are open or closed. How in the world did we get like this? This is no longer cute. It was all right for the first 2 or 3 months while everybody was trying to get their composure and understand this virus. But 8 months in, if you're going to ask for an extension, at least make a case. Don't just come, I want an extension for another month, and hook, look, and sinker. All of your men and women vote for it. How dare y'all? You are insulting our intellect and parading on our democracy and sidelining our right of movement and humiliating our business owners and entrepreneurs. Your one-man stand is killing our economy. And it sure doesn't help when the one in the chair does not believe in God. There comes a time, my brothers and sisters, where if you don't speak up for the country God has given you, Sir Lyndon Penlin said, you don't deserve to have it. Show us a case. Make your case. Why do you need another month? All right. So.
All right. All right. I like it. I'm sorry. That was quality stuff right there.
I didn't
Show
realize
me a
it was
case.
passionate. It is very passionate and sincere. It's a very dynamic preaching from a pulpit. And nowadays, you know, the preaching tend to be dull and boring. I was actually moved. I was moved by it. I'm not necessarily saying that I agree with what the bishop said, but I was definitely made emotive by what he said. So I wanted to say that.
Okay. So it isn't that you necessarily agree, but you were moved.
I was moved. I was definitely moved.
That's so Trapsy Cecil. All right. Okay. So here is me. This is me, y'all. I have no problem. Everything must be done in season and out of season. And I have no problem with pastors speaking up, right? Or pastors standing for what they believe in. The church, if what they believe is that they stand under a different authority, which is God and the kingdom of God, that we exist here, we live, breathe on this earth, but our kingdom is separate and apart. We just render to Caesar what is to Caesar. Then one must, as not just a pastor, but every citizen, in their authority of God, the king, speak freely for their king and his kingdom. That's just the first thing from a spiritual perspective, right? So I have no problem with him doing what he did. I have no problem at all speaking for what many Bahamians have said, make the case. I have said this constantly, make the case. You cannot consistently and in perpetuity insist on locking people down. Insist on using this one magnanimous power where you have shown perhaps not to be mature enough to understand the weight of your power. You haven't come with any true solution to deal with this health crisis. We are still finding ourselves begging for help rather than, not that there's a problem with asking Samaritan's Purse to show up and give us assistance, but where is all of this spending going to aiding the crisis rather than just sustaining our inevitable demise? Because that's really what we're doing. All we're doing is funding poverty. And this continued move to fund poverty, the money will run out. So where are we in this growth chart to change the narrative? So the bishop is speaking. This is a truth. If there's any criticism, and I've not followed the bishop politically, to be honest with you. So, you know, Cecil, you know, Corbell, you know, I've been talking sports longer than I've been talking politics. So who was following all of this? Like, who was keeping up? Like, nobody cared at that point in my life. Here is where I gather that persons may have an issue, if any, is that if the bishop shows that he doesn't speak up the same way when another political party is in office, and perhaps they might find it hypocritical. It would be hypocritical if you saw that it wasn't a consistent messaging throughout. However, what he's speaking about today, I find, is more fundamental our civil rights is what is being infringed upon when we talk about these lockdowns. So I find that it's fine for me that a pastor would speak on these things. I have no problem. I think that a pastor is supposed to shine and show up and say our civil liberties are being affected. Because I go to church, and if the pastor is deemed to be a shepherd, then, bro, you better shepherd the flock. You need to show up and stand at the front of the line so that if there's a bullet to take, you take it. You getting all the prayers. You getting the Mercedes. You wearing the Gator boots. You getting the tithe. So you better stand in the front of these bullets. You better be the voice for the voiceless. You better be the hope for the hopeless. That is your mandate. So if it ain't the pastor doing it, or the bishop doing it, or the sister Mary, whoever standing at the front of the pulpit taking the shots, but the members are, then something is wrong. They're getting the subdivisions. They're the ones who are reaping benefits from either government or administration. So who else is supposed to stand up and speak? Bishop better speak. All them bishops better speak. Especially them ones who drive them 100% electric. I'm just saying.
If I could just say a couple of things real quick here too. First with Bishop Ellis again, something about the theatrics about it, because I'll tell you, for me personally, I'm not moved by what he says. I don't disagree with him, but I think he knew that it would accomplish exactly this, at least. And in fact, I want to say this as well. What do you call it in music when you sample another artist's work and you change the words, I guess.
I think that is a sample, eh?
Right,
Oh, plagiarism,
right.
unless it's wrong.
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Ooh, that's damning. And the money ain't there to defend oneself against them type of lawsuits. Because that, that sermon of his, which I don't think it was I'm moved by the Spirit thing. This was mine. But he was working on that, tweaking that from Thursday.
Because that came out right.
And and I feel this familiarity with it to Martin Luther King Jr.'s why I am opposed to the Vietnam War speech. You know what I mean? Which and it carries the same cadences. I tell you, if this was music playing, it would have the same. Like you would be dancing to the exact same beat. And it gets to that part there about there comes the time when you're not willing to fight for a country. Well, it's almost like when Martin Luther King said in that speech there that there comes a time when where hell is reserved or something like that for those who keep their silence in a time of injustice, or you know what I mean. So there are those similarities. That sort of thing.
Well, that's interesting. Hold on, let's get this caller first. Let's get a call.
Go ahead, sorry.
And let's see what the caller has to say. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see this right by Sam in the morning and I'm going.
Hello, you're on the air. Welcome. Hello, you're on the air. All right, producer, switch the call. Hello, caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Elijah.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Hi, caller, you're on the air. All right, everyone. So we'll try and get those callers back as they, I don't know what was the challenge there. So, I get you, Carvel, because you're right. It does have that sort of cadence to it. The question is, do we? I don't have a problem.
But I don't want anybody to misunderstand me to think that I'm saying dismiss what he's saying, because I totally agree with what he's saying. You know what I mean? I also think we should not. I think it's a healthy debate to have about him saying it. I mean, the timing of saying it. I think everybody else has been saying it. So yes, Bishop Ellis, you have this flock, but why now just say it though? Because Dr. Minnis came out a few weeks ago and threatened this lockdown. Well, there was radio silence, eh?
Yeah. Good point.
Personally, I was a bit mad, and when you talk about people's rights, civil rights, well, I don't like the fact that you say stop movement completely on weekends, but churchgoers get to go out. Why can't you guys worship virtually? But that's unpopular to say, right?
Well, mind you, and this is the thing. Here is a point on that too. When that was asked for, the only person really making noise about worshiping virtually by himself, feeling like the lone voice, and I had him on my show, was Pastor T.G. Morrison.
Right.
Because T.G. Morrison was the only one really, and his thing was, where's the rest of the church?
But Nahaja, I want to interject to say that Bishop Neil Ellis was the first to say, my flock is not coming back to the church. We will worship virtually.
That's right. So he was okay with that.
And one must also appreciate the fact that he did not mention his church and worshiping on Saturdays and limited time at all during his preaching. What do you call it? A short preach? A preacher cat or some sort? Preachat? The short version of preaching.
A sermonette?
Sermonette. That's calling a preachat. But anyway, a sermonette. In his sermonette, he's concerned about his parishioners. The working, closing down the economy. He was concerned about civil debate about what is happening. Not necessarily that it was wrong or right, but that someone needs to give an alternative side and then be a conclusion.
And make a case. Make a case. That's all he's saying. Listen, you can't keep using these powers without making a case. You cannot, and we have said that many times, and I've said it many times, we must have where these things make sense. You cannot keep on talking about extending. For what? How long? If the vaccines are not mandatory, Cecil, then no one has to take it. So then we stay in lockdown if nobody takes the vaccine. This is where the lack of competency has come up always, constantly, and ferociously with this administration. And for Carl Kalma to be the voice that keeps talking in the midst of this foolishness shows if Carl Coleman is the best that the Free National Movement have, then the Free National Movement should right now take off all their red, burn it in efficacy, and leave government. Because I'm sorry, it's not, no. That response was terrible.
Was it really? Was it really? I don't feel like I don't carry water for the Free National Movement, but I think the chairman did exactly what I would have expected the chairman to do.
His response should have been simply with the church knowing exactly who he's about to go up in a fight with, and the message that it wasn't inaccurate. Come on now, you think the FNMs don't know that they're failing at this point?
But Nahaja, my concern and why I applaud the chairman Culmer is you can't call the leader or hint. Let me change it. You cannot hint that the leader of the country is godless.
That one I get you on. That I could. That one I could get you with. That part.
As harsh as you can and mash up.
No.
You know?
Yeah. The godless part was a stretch. You're right on that.
In ashes in the sackcloth and pray for him.
Because we know that the good prime minister goes to church. He does go to church.
Yeah, and mind you, I was even concerned that the chairman Culmer mentioned Catholic or Catholicism. When I saw my prime minister at that that church is on
NPCC, man.
Yes, NPCC.
He's Catholic. He's Catholic. What does that have to do with it?
Is he a Catholic?
Man, come on, he's a Catholic.
Oh, okay. But I mean, sometimes you can take your time off. You can take your time. Listen, you need to be Catholic every day. See, so you can take a break.
How many times have I seen the German at NPCC?
Yeah,
he has membership.
This not so much. You know how quickly these fellas get. You don't come to that church. You know how quickly these people get offended. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The good chairman. I'm very disappointed in the chairman. I don't have a problem. All them other times the chairman was just being a chairman. You know, he reminded me of what's the name of the other chairman that's passed away, the PLP chairman.
Rodney Roberts. There's no comparison.
All the waste of time.
No, there's no.
God bless the dead.
There's no comparison.
God bless the dead. God bless the dead. But I'm sorry, I didn't like that chairman either.
The only issue I took with the chairman, I don't know, and I think CA was saying it before on social media somewhere too, that instead of doing what he's supposed to do, uplifting the people and this and that, I was like, well, who told you that's what Bishop Ellis came to that church to do, or that is what his mission was? Like, how dare you
on Sunday?
For the bishop, and who determines what is uplifting?
Listen, I know who determined that is correct. What is uplifting?
They cheered. They started clapping. I heard a hallelujah in the back. So clearly,
listen, there were no whistles though. There were no whistles. Were we social distancing in church? There were no whistles.
But like the Hajj said,
contingent was present. Now imagine the noise with half of the population inside there. So that was some noise.
But like the Hajj said, right? And there's the history to support this. Man, there are some battles you just walk away from, right?
Yes.
like I think Minister did it right. I don't have any comment to the
just let it go.
Let that go. Because now this has turned into the God debate.
Yes.
Not even the God debate, the weight class debate. Just the weight class debate, man.
Because once the church begins to say, make it comparison with this idea, putting this narrative out there that you aren't listening to nobody, not even God. Remember, Ingram got in trouble for simply the best. What do you mean simply the best? Or nobody greater and this and that.
Hold on. He played that song? That's funny.
Christy flipping the bird and the church starting to revolt against him, and you know what I mean. So this is how it starts.
It's a free fall from here.
Yeah, no, it's a bad one. Listen, I'm sorry. Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. Mr. Culmer was fine until he showed.
We must remember, Nahasha, also that Neil Ellis is not a pastor. He's not a reverend. He's not
a bishop.
He's a bishop. He has several churches underneath his belt.
Yes, he's not just any bishop. He's not just any bishop.
Anointed. He has been anointed. I saw the video with the holy oil and the holy stick and the holy ring. And
the holy stick? There's a holy stick. You know what, Cecil? I can't but you know. You too trapsy. The holy stick.
He's the Wellington, the Wellington, the funny of the church world.
He's the Wellington.
Whoa, was that sacrilegious? Whoa, sorry,
that was probably sacrilegious.
That was.
Whoa.
But listen, the thing is here, right? If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Guardian 96.9 FM. We got Corville Price from CA Newry joining us. We're talking about the chairman of the Free National Movement colliding, or And it's not a war of words per se, because the bishop wasn't speaking to the chairman, so there's no back and forth between the bishop and the chairman. The bishop was speaking on the pulpit. The chairman responded to the bishop's message. Now, what would be wonderful for entertainment purposes is if the bishop would respond in kind. And therefore, the whole world, that's it.
You can't do that.
But the bishop won't do that because the bishop will not fight below his weight class.
No.
You ever seen a boxer who's a champion fight someone who hasn't proven themselves, but they could I'm not going to fight below my weight. I don't make more money fighting below my weight class. You got to you got to play or fight to not just win, but to know what the ticket entails. So you fight someone who brings up your ticket. That's what you do. You fight someone who increases the value of the ticket. The bishop ain't gonna get no extra play by running on with Carl. Carl may have gotten more excitement I don't know if the base got excited. I don't know if the base got excited.
They tried, but you gotta understand that the bishop have at least about 5,000 membership of his churches. That's a big base to be fighting against. And don't forget the other subsidiary churches who support the bishop in kind. That's a bad battle to be fighting.
And even though, as we were making some jokes here about it, though, I think one serious thing about this is that we have to remember that what the bishop says does carry a lot of weight, right? Because now it turns this, sip that minister isn't listening to anybody to actual fact now. You know what I mean? Like how you were saying, the prime minister seems as though he doesn't consult with anybody. But here you have this bishop, this reputable bishop now standing up there saying, no, the prime minister does not seek consultation, advice, or anything from anybody, and he's a one-man band. He has now made that to a large segment of this population a fact.
So funny that you said that.
And that's very damning against this administration. And so it's very interesting to me to see how they intend now to I guess fight this or disprove what the bishop has said.
We had Dr. Forbes on, and in the interview with Dr. Forbes, we came to a conclusion that perhaps the prime minister is not listening to the medical physicians who are tasked on this task force, because she puts our readiness to open at a 1 on the first, at a 1 out of 5. That's where she puts our readiness to open. She, when asked what sort of, if you could, what would you do if you had the funds or the reserves to help combat COVID-19, which she says we could win? She would have had far more testing. We would have had a quarantine facility where people are not allowed to just quarantine at home. We would have had more test tracing. So all three of the things are adequate and missing. And she believes that we could overcome those things. So I think I'm past the point believing that the prime minister was ever listening. He's making a lot of unilateral decisions, or there are some people who he trusts who may not be as confident that he's listening to with regard to this pandemic. That affects all of us. And it goes to what the bishop said. What the bishop, when he was sharing, when he was talking about, some of the challenges with just this one man or this one power thing. How did we get here? Cecil, I've said it. Corville, I think you've heard me say it. How did we get here? How is it that we have one person being the ultimate power? Dwayne Sands has said we should take it to the legislature, make it a more democratic process. This is not new. This is something that is required, that the prime minister, and he called out everyone the fact that members of parliament, they are spineless. I'm sorry. I don't need a bishop to tell me that the members of parliament who keep voting for and asking for an extension. We have a minister of foreign affairs who today can't really tell me anything with sense or with regard to what's going on in his Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but is calling for an extension of the executive orders. He's calling for an extension of the executive orders, but yet we are talking about opening up the country on the 1st of November. So how are you going to do both? Who are the executive orders for? Because obviously it ain't for the tourists, but it's for us. And then how did you get into that purview? The minister, I can't even tell you what his name is at this point because he's so absent, but he decides to show up for this. What's going on in Miami? That's in your purview. What's going on in China? That's in your purview. That minister isn't showing up to do his job, but his spineless self going to show up today and talk about an extension. But is his paycheck getting cut? Is he getting $100 a week? Is he worrying about where his children are they online or not? See, this is the same foolishness that I have a problem with, that Bishop didn't need to preach for me for. But now Bishop could show up for me today on Sunday and he gonna speak finally and find himself not spineless and speak. So see, I don't have time for these fellas to show up and decide what they want to talk about. Carl could speak on that. Speak on that. Tell us where that is. Because you know these people ain't serious about real life. And they want to talk about Bishop. That's another distraction. Another distraction. Tell the Minister of Foreign Affairs to tell me how come Ms. Trico Maki still got her job. Tell her, show up for me on that one. Tell me how. And where is the consulate in China? How are they failing so? And we ain't get the audit on China yet. See, I ain't got time for these people, man. I ain't got time.
Well,
I ain't got time.
Wow.
I ain't got time.
But we do have good news, Nahaja. And I want
Jesus saves. Hallelujah.
Yeah, well, that's good news. Always good news.
Hey.
But I like to say that the Ministry of Tourism was able to negotiate with a local NGO, right?
Hold on, wait. What was that?
You didn't know that?
Living with COVID Coalition?
Yeah, I assume that just started.
And that's a weird one. Living with COVID Coalition. This is brand new. A lot of brand new things have popped up.
And I'm impressed that the Ministry of Tourism was able to negotiate something that the Ministry of Health could not do. So I'm very happy for that. And I'm happy to know that a local NGO and not an international NGO was able to obtain this COVID-19 rapid test. So that's something impressive. I'm impressed that the public-private agreement was done so quickly in terms of negotiation, you know, because it just happened over the blue. And I'm very impressed that a NGO would just happen to be created over, I wouldn't say
on the weekend during a lockdown.
I'm not sure. Powerful. I'm not sure how long they existed, but definitely by the name, one would assume that had to be within the last 6 months.
Because it was living with COVID. Yeah, living with COVID Coalition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so local.
The last 6 months that they were able to find a partner, strategic partner abroad and bring that benefit to the Bahamas. And and circumvent all those other NGOs.
Like our own government, though, but circumvent our own government, our own Ministry of Health to purchase items that we've needed and that cost $2-3. But it's a private-public partnership. We don't know where it comes. You know what it sounds like to me, though? It sounds like a lot of these deals that have been happening during COVID that are some way connecting finance, the people's money in a crisis, but people are getting paid. Like, how can you force me to now, when I was getting my NIB payments directly to the bank, force me to go through a digital wallet that I didn't know anything about, that if I withdraw monies, that I'm going to have to be paid. I have to pay a fee for withdrawing the monies that I didn't request to put there, but that is my taxpayers' earned dollars. Something is very illegal about that process. But see, that's a process. What about social services who are being required? The seniors are being required to use a digital wallet to receive their food stamps or vouchers that they were getting normally directly on their card, Cecil, their bank account direct. But this is COVID time. So we need new entities to create more bureaucracy. But someone is getting paid for these digital processes. But now it sounds very familiar because don't forget now, what was rumored was when good Dwayne Sands found himself letting people in on that flight who were giving swabs. He called the Minister of Tourism. You remember that? The Minister of Tourism seemed to have known them a little bit more than the Minister of Health. If you remember correctly on that story, how that went? Okay, but now we living with COVID. We living with COVID and a coalition that is able to give us antigen tests that the government itself could afford at a cheaper rate because they can buy in bigger, as far as I'm concerned, buy in bigger volume. But instead of doing this for our people, because we open it on the 1st of November, who are these really for? Who are these for? Because, you know, you got to test the guests. Last time I checked, that's a part of it, no? So who are these antigen tests for? Please tell us. Look, I almost say some unsaved things just now, but I heard the bishop. No, I ain't hear the bishop because the bishop probably would tell me cuss. I heard the Lord. Hallelujah, so I can stay saved. But these Negroes, they ain't gonna fool me. But I didn't see through all of this.
Definitely the idea that Ministry of Tourism made this announcement and not the Ministry of Health who who's supposed to make such announcements, one must assume that these 3 million tests are for tourism.
Tourism. You know the same for us.
Right? And one must also look who heads this organization, this new organization, and see if there's any kind of familiar connection to see where our Bahamian dollars is going, to see who will benefit from it. Now, mind you, I don't want to be ungrateful. I'm not being ungrateful. I'm glad that
where does gratitude kick into this?
I don't know.
No.
Boy, they just have you. They just have you exactly where they need you to be. Hey, great. You're just so grateful. It's always that. In case you're out there listening, I'm grateful.
I'm very happy in case one of those, I need to collect one of those. That's must be what it sounds like, but just in case.
In the words of the bishop, this ain't cute.
We got a call on the line. Let's get this caller. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Hello. Caller. All right. Keep losing our caller. Producer. Oh, we got a caller again. Caller, you're on the air. All right. Nope. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more with Corval Pike from C.A. Nuri here on the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Someone says C.A. is always being sarcastic. Yes. Yes. He is. Yes. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We'll be back right after this. Oh, hello. I can hear you now.
And I'm telling you, when it's to me, LSU don't have nothing to feel shame about. You don't have nothing to feel shame about. He did the right thing, and if it comes from his heart, when he's on his purpose, he should feel proud. All the calling him and telling him, he was very disrespectful. There, on none of these lines, 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to get something to eat. They have certain things in the house. That's why they can talk and say. He is disrespectful, wrong. If that's calling, when you come from God, we should accept it. Someone needs to touch the Prime Minister's heart. And that sermon he said, touch his heart. You see what I'm saying? Because he's the one that comes and says that people can't. But we never know what he mean by that. But we know now what he mean by that. You see what I'm saying? People hurting, people crying and longing. And before he sent away and bring in containers and containers of food to help people in need, he's spending money on cars, COVID-19 with police in it, writing tickets for people. You understand? This country, again, it's really going backward. All people there is help. You know what? Hate no one. You see what I'm saying? If God touch that man heart to say something like that, we should accept that.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother, and I agree with you.
A lot of people are strong. You see what I'm saying? He needs to get the containers of food here and really spend the money the right way and stop spending it negatively.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the call. And you know what? I mean, I agree with him to a certain extent. Listen, there are folks who will, and the bishop spoke for a lot of people, and let the man. That's why Carl didn't fight in his weight class. That's all I'm saying, Carl. Just be quiet and move on. It is what it is. Ain't nobody like y'all. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We'll be back.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us. We push back. Challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, C.A. Nuri, Corvell Pipe from joining me here on the show. It's a pleasure to have everyone here today. As I said on the top of the show, you know, one of the things that COVID has been interesting process, and it's definitely a real one. It's one that we have to take seriously.
Yes.
As I said earlier today, I lost my cousin, and you know, I you know, it's such a weird thing when you think about it, and how much time you're supposed to spend with folks, and you forget.
Yes.
That you take people for granted, and we don't spend enough time. And when we found out that he was in the hospital, there was an immediate concern, knowing that he had some serious comorbidities, and so we were concerned about his health and would he be able to pull through, and we were hopeful that he would. We had gotten some positive news yesterday. It was slow-moving progress, but it was progress. And then today, to be told this morning that we lost him this morning, and this is definitely painful, as we lost someone just recently from the same household. So it's just a lot that you take in, but it hit home how serious this virus is, that we should not take it lightly. That not just that we should not take it lightly, but that we need to arrest this virus called COVID-19. We must deal with it with more intention. We must deal with it with more gusto, with the most force possible to help curb the spread the way it is being done, and to give people a sense of hope and control. It's one of the worst things is having no control, right? And you see things are happening around you and you're feeling helpless. And there are things that we can do in our own sphere of control. That is, we can go ahead and socially distance ourselves. Something that is unnatural to a lot of us is not being near to family. During this process, knowing that, you know, you couldn't visit, I'd asked, hey, can I call this? You know, can I call him? Is he able to take calls? And the thing was, no, he's not able to take calls right now. And so it just being concerned and wanting to call and realizing I couldn't even call. And now, obviously, you know, that's, you know, and just to hear him say, Haji, would you say, you know, just that I missed that. And so that's very sad. So, and to know that he died alone, and that is something else that's very concerning. Knowing he has family here and his kids are abroad, but yet no one could be there, right? No one could be there with him. And so it really makes it a sad process that we're going through, and that it seems to be constantly happening, that there are more families that are going through this, that people have lost their loved ones, and you know, the concern of how did he get COVID, who was around, was there contact tracing, and so now all of this is going on, and we've lost someone. Now how are we gonna, you know, what's the process? So, you know, can the family come down, and can we have a funeral, and what are his children going to do? It's more than, you know, this is a lot. And so these are the things you're thinking about now, and it makes this process real, which angers me a lot, that we seem to be playing games. And when I say seem to be playing games, in that we're not doing all that needs to happen. We're not being super intentional with fighting this virus, man. If we know that there's a lot of workplace spread, can we get serious with mass testing, contact tracing, and isolation? 3 simple things.
Yep.
That requires intention. Mass testing, contact tracing, and isolation. Cecil, Corville, I don't know if you guys have heard the stories that I've heard, where people are catching COVID and they report it, they find out that they're positive, and then there's limited to no contact tracing.
Yes, this is why I got excited about this new NGO, Living with COVID. I thought it was a support group, and I hope that it is a support group where you test positive, and there's an organization who will come and help support you in terms of making sure you have groceries, making sure you don't need to go on. If you're quarantined, you don't have to go out, giving you the best home-based remedies, giving the best information on what medications to take up, to mental health and all that. I assume that this particular organization was about that. And to know that this organization also is able to help with getting this needed COVID tests You know, I'm impressed with it. So it's something to commend. It's something to ask more question about and to try to understand exactly what this new NGO is about and how it will help Bahamians in general.
Yeah, how it will help. We definitely know how it will help and how much it costs. That's something that's also, again, with the health crisis, we also have a financial crisis that was brought on by this health crisis. So there's so many things that are.
But does the money really matter at this point in time?
Yes, it matters, because if you have limited resources, how we spend it matters. So I need to know if we are spending how much, because it's a public-private, meaning that there are still public assets funneling into this. How much of it is public? What was the cost per unit? How would it have differed if the Ministry of Health had went ahead and acquired the same assets, right? The same tools. What is that difference? Was there a benefit to us that we sought to go through this avenue? Or how much of the 3 million is going towards a campaign of mass testing? Or is it still going through the same process of foolishness that we do today? If you're positive, if you got symptoms, show up somewhere or get the test at your own cost. If you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, then stay home and get everybody in your house sick. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm not into it. Corval, you have a thought?
I do. First let me extend my condolences to you and your family on the loss of your relative. And you know, as you were mentioning that, we got news today too of a childhood friend and somebody that grew up in this community. Brian Allen is his name, and he passed away overnight. From what I understand, is COVID-19 complications as well. And so I think everybody, or more and more at least, we're starting to definitely come to terms with how serious this is. But it's something my friend Levin Miller always says is about. He's really against this whole beating up of this personal responsibility thing, because the truth is really, like, how much more humanly can I do, given about if we're open, if we're allowed some bit of movement? It isn't social distancing and all of this is almost impractical.
Exactly.
Unless, and so which is it that we want? I mean, you know, I leave the house each day knowing that COVID-19 exists and I don't want it. You know what I mean? And I fear too with this personal responsibility notion that we keep driving home. We got to be careful to not demonize people here either, because I'm going to tell you this: you call for mass testing and contact tracing. Well, I don't have much faith in contact tracing because, like you, CC, Dr. Philip Swanee sent me that letter back too, saying I was all excited. I said, yeah, I beat Cecil on this. I getting me some money for this contact tracing, only to get the second email in regards to the previous email saying, do you want to volunteer or do you expect to be paid? And if it is the latter, disregard.
So hold on. There's no paid contact traces.
No.
You got to put yourself in harm's way for free.
Exactly. And beyond I stayed at the Princess Margaret Hospital last year after a broken ankle, and they told me, I don't ever want to see you come back here again or else. And that was no friendly. That was not a friendly or else. I did not have a good experience in the male orthopedic ward, and so I don't wish to return, and I'm sure they don't wish to see me either. And the truth is, I ain't got no insurance, so you know.
See, same thing, and that's the same thing, my brother. Call a spade. And majority of Bahamians don't have insurance.
I mind you, I came close to having insurance by taking a job at the United Nations, but the Dutch man there didn't renew my contract, so hey. So it is what it is.
It is what it, in the words of the COP.
Duddy, what an absolute duddy, man. Eh? To do this to me at a time like this. Wow.
You need to get a hotel job.
I swear,
get that $100, boo.
I willing to support any government, any party would willing to kick him out, man. How could he do that to me, man?
And use a pipe from, for God's sake. A pipe from.
He kept Luby.
Nobody will ever fire Luby. I just want you to know. Nobody will ever fire Luby. We always just say, Luby Georges always lands on his feet.
Luby, always,
that brother falls forward.
Even if he has to knock you off yours.
He could get a job. Praise God. That man black.
Luby falls forward. Luby don't fall down. Luby falls forward. Okay?
That I have learned.
You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Okay, something else that has come up. I find it. I'm actually surprised that folks are surprised by this, but maybe because I've been I've been dealing with it for over a year. And I guess this is new for many. The government is now, will start receiving VAT on Facebook ads starting the 1st, right? And listen here, I'm actually surprised. I was hopeful that they would have moved on and forgotten about it, but nah. Every revenue source that the poor man got, we gonna take. Yeah, every revenue, a little bit of something, we got to dip into that. Mind you, I found in the ERC, I thought it was fascinating. The ERC made sure go out of his way to tell us how much money behind the gates of Lyford Key and all of the gated communities out west bring us. I thought that was fascinating. Was that a part of the recovery strategy?
I don't know. I think it put a bad taste in Bahamians' mouth, and they don't know.
No, I try to figure out where is the recovery strategy in that.
Working class Bahamians, particularly. I'm in the food and beverage arena where I work, and I teach at-risk youth in terms of mentoring and butlering and food and beverage, and to know that it's a battle to find employment for Bahamians behind the gates of Lyford Key in food and beverage. That the butlers are now Filipino, the gardeners are now Haitian, the cooks are now Jamaican, and then to say that this is benefiting Lyford Key is benefiting the Bahamians in mass.
90 million, something like that.
You watch
450 million, is it? What was the amount?
It was. I think I thought it was like 90 million a year or something. No,
whatever it was.
I might have been wrong.
My point it is they're trying to say that this impacts Bahamian household, and I want to know if they did any breakdown on which household exactly.
Which household
does it benefit, or they just did a wide cross analysis and say just whoever can pay his check. No.
I think they went ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Corbel.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder too. Are these like veiled threats or something? Because the timing of these things
is felt like too.
Suspect too, right?
Didn't it feel that way?
I think the headline said something about Lyford Key contributes about $40 million per annum to the Bahamian economy. If you remove that, each household would have to pay an additional like $1,258 in taxes, something like. And it's just like, wow.
What were they saying? Like, stop talking about these non-Negro rich folk. What were they trying to say? I'm trying to figure out. What was the threat in it? Because it felt like a veiled threat. It did feel like a threat.
Neo-colonialism type concepts.
But of course we're coming to see that, and that's why I think the political correctness and the cuteness of and trying to look for the right broadcast words to use about this is all out the window for people, and definitely for me now. When you have Brent Simonet, who for the life of me cannot understand historically why people have issues.
That I will say, somehow I wonder if it's just that intentionally that he wishes to be tone deaf, because I found something that he said was a bit, not a bit, it was distasteful. I'm on the phone all the time and I'm helping Bahamians, but at one point, you're trying to demonize me. You want me to help you and demonize you all at the same demonize me at the same time. That sort of narrative, and I was like, "Geez, man."
Really? I want to make this point. What is amusing? His father made the same speech years ago when.
Really?
Yes, exact same wording.
No,
your people, but you're demonizing me. So it's ironic. It's ironic.
And so what is good for him to know is that you are dealing with very nice Negroes.
Yes.
The more than rational Negroes, in the sense that, we don't want to take the stuff from you that you already got through ill-gotten means, We do not covet your wealth.
No, we don't want what you got. No, we just want you to leave everything else alone.
We don't even want you to stop being allowed to play. We just wish to play too.
No, we need you to pause playing because you got already all the big tools. He already got all the big trophies, right? So we know he's a professional winner. I want to get in the game, learn how to play the game as good as he, and then say, come back now, let's compete. That's how I want. That's the truth. The truth is, he got a big truck. I ain't got no trucks. I got a car. We on a digging expedition. I need some time to just move sand in my trunk first so that I could afford to one day buy a truck. But if you keep on digging with your big truck, you ain't gonna leave no sign for me by the time I'm able to afford a truck. So my whole thing is, Say again?
You need an affirmative action.
I need affirmative action from the Simonettes and the Simonettes and all of the other oligarchs of the Bahamas. I need some affirmative action. We need a timeout, a moratorium on their winnings. And, I thought it was fascinating. And it goes back to, go Carvel. Do you want to
it's something that we should have remembered from Sarkis' million too going forward. Y'all stop begging these people for things, man. It comes, but they throw it up in your face.
They throw it up in your face.
They throw it up in, like, seriously. They throw it up in your face. Do not do it.
I
take somebody there with you. Take a witness there with you.
He's a generous man. I know he has contributed a lot and for the Fox Hill and the Eastern Road area. So I shan't join you all in your chorus of demonizing the family. I know they are generous people.
I've met him. I've said this before. I've met Mr. Simonet. He seemed like nothing like other than a very nice gentleman. This doesn't mean anything to me in terms of who he is personally. This is on it isn't, to me, it isn't a personal thing. This is purely on a national perspective. I've always said, I'm a capitalist at heart. This is my study. I believe in capitalism. I also believe in social capitalism, that there is a better way to gain wealth that does not innately mean that someone has to be a loser. In this country, systemically, through generations, there have been few winners. And it seems as if we believe conceptually that there only can be few winners while the rest of us are losers. If we are to switch that mental stronghold, we have got to do it, not from the ground up, we got to cut the head off the snake. You got to cut it off and get a whole new animal or vehicle to change this narrative. There are more than enough. The few are so wealthy, they could take their time and pause, Just go travel the world, be wealthy. But the fact that we have now again another set of Simonettes, another generation of Simonettes seeking to do the same thing that they have gotten wealth from, whilst we are demonized as Bahamians saying, put it in a sovereign wealth fund. When we ask about our natural resources, Cecil, you are one of the champions that said it'll never be ours. So this is a problem that we have. So if you're talking about his nephew, the next generation will get wealthy off of our natural resources, we'll select and come again. We'll select it because it ain't like you're short on money. It ain't like why are you tone deaf on where we coming from? I understand that this is your country too. But you know what? You own it more than the rest of us. That's all we saying. You own it and we work for you. That's it.
And I know that you're running out of time, and I just want to say this on this note here. If you have every right to be upset about what he said, and don't let anybody talk you out of being upset about it. Nothing to overthink. It is what it is. He meant what he said, and he said it with intention.
And he took that speech. He copy and pasted that speech.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. My good friend C.A. Nuri and Corville Pipe from joining me today on the show. Tomorrow we've got Arinthia Kumalafe and my other good friend, C. Allen Johnson. We're talking about the digital space. I can't wait. Everybody, take care. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black live on Guardian 96.9 FM.